is.
cool
It is.
too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just
People,
goes to show though that is, it's a personal journey, I think.
it is. Yeah, you gotta pick something that works for you when it comes to that stuff. And
Yeah.
we kind of went opposite directions, but both have had success, and that's all that matters. Coming out
Mhm.
of it better and healthier than we were to start.
Yeah, I think we could coach that on a whole nother channel, a whole nother show. But that's just a mindset. I mean,
Right.
if those are goals you got, just like anything, just like starting a business or a podcast or an awesome barbecue
Right. Right.
series, all starts with a mindset.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, man, some of the things we're going to go through, format's going to be a little bit different this time. We focused before on episodes mostly on, the competition circuit and that sort of thing. We got some changes for
Yeah.
this year. Things are going to be a little bit different. We're going to start, we kind of want to do a quick look back on where we started, man, and how far we've come, and then share some big news with you guys, kind of a glimpse into what we got in store for the show for this year. And Kentuckiana Barbecue Pitmasters, what's going to happen with that organization, that entity, as we move into 2025. So
Yeah, the hot topic
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. So if you don't know about the series, we kind of got into this. So what happened back in 2018? I was trying to find a way to promote my insurance agency, and put together a little barbecue competition down in Corden, Indiana. And it's the first one I had ever done, first time I'd have been involved in any of this, any sort of competitive cooking whatsoever. And we ended up having 14 teams sign up for that
Yeah,
event.
that's pretty good for a first year event.
Yeah, did it in
100%.
downtown in the farmers market, and it was a KCBS sanctioned event. And I quickly learned the the financial commitment that goes along with that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And most of the teams that were there were new to competition, right? They had
yeah,
never
and
done it before.
that's a financial commitment that's big for not just an organizer, but teams,
Yeah,
especially if they're new.
absolutely,
So
absolutely. So what we learned from that was that there's not, at the time in Indiana, there wasn't any sort of organized series or kind of standardized set of rules that
nothing consistent. There
right,
was nothing
exactly. Yeah, we had
consistent
some
with
stuff
it.
before that and some different, series that happened and had kind of faded out. And
But the community was good, and that's what you
right,
recognize right away is the barbecue
yeah,
family that
there,
want,
yeah, there
you
was a
know
need there, and there was
Yeah,
people that had competed before that came that hadn't seen their friends and other competition teams for a long time, and they were excited to get down there and not just cook, but see some people they hadn't seen or hung out with for quite a while. And there was a need at the time for an entry level series where these backyard guys could come in and cook in a similar format to what KCBS does, and then eventually be able to hone that skill and then step into
a bigger
a bigger
area.
arena, right? A
Yeah,
more professional
KCBS,
KCBS event,
MBN,
right?
something, Great
Um,
Lakes.
and
Yeah,
and we've had I feel like at least half a dozen sanctioning bodies that have popped up, big sanctioning bodies that have popped up since then.
yeah, yeah,
Not because of anything we were doing, but just because they saw the need also, and
yeah.
and went a different direction with it.
Well,
So
and you start to realize that what we were doing, the talent in our group was enough to not just try to make it a jump off point, but like a home,
right,
and that's where all the kind of conflict and the hardship came was making it sustainable
exactly,
because that's what everybody struggled with even before us, especially as you get into being a cook, you know, now the commitment. So, that's kind of where we kind of started it was an awesome thing and it was organic, but the sustainability of it really takes more than just one person that's married to it,
for
you
sure,
know.
for sure. And that's really what happened. So the first year, in 2019 was the first year we ran the full series. Um, I was at every event.
Yeah,
We had,
yeah,
I think, 14 events in 2019.
at least. Yeah,
Um, it was our biggest event year for sure, and I was at every single one of
me
those.
too.
Yep. Yeah, you
Some
were at one.
twice.
You were at one that I wasn't even at.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, because we
Well,
had two on the same day, and
in heart I was, but
that's
again,
right.
my feet weren't. I had quality of a big team
That's
there. So
right, for sure. So, it was a good year, but yeah, the attention that it takes to stay on top of it. We tried to, 2020 happened, COVID came in. Obviously, that kind of put the brakes on everything as it did, the entire world. And then, we did in October of 2020, we were able to throw that rib competition together
Yeah.
in Corden just to kind of get the teams
Hog
together. And
Days had the first
yeah,
Hog Days that year too. That's
right,
where I decided to kind of get in and try to help more because
right,
we thought COVID was going to destroy the whole trail.
right.
And there was so much steam coming out of 18 and 19
Hmm.
that as a cook, and I know Kyle Winkler was that way, and there were some other cooks that were just wanted to be dedicated. And that was a hard line to walk then when
Right,
it was, we want to be a cook, but we want to make it transparent and fair. So we all started to try hosting events. I
right.
had Hog Days, Kyle had the veterans cook
Yep,
off, and
yep,
so there were changes
right.
involved in that.
Yeah. And then, I had some personal changes in my life, um, career path changes. I, got offered a promotion, which required me to move to the northern part of the state, and wasn't able to be at every single event. And that's ultimately, I think, what turned into a lot of difficulty is there wasn't consistency throughout the events
Yeah.
because one of us wasn't able to be there,
Uh,
boots on the ground to monitor things.
and we're always going to stay on the high road, and you could go back and forth pointing fingers, not in a really malicious way, but just
Right.
between organizers, between us, between the lack of having reps, but between you guys not stepping up and taking board positions and
Yep.
being married to it. And that's really what it needed, was a team. There were so
Right.
many things to overcome. Like we were kind of talking off camera before. One of the big things is, to be fair to everyone, everyone needs to be fully invested as a
Right.
team, as an organizer, as the guys trying to keep this thing together. Who's getting sponsorships? I mean, when you start breaking down the task of doing something like this, and I think that's why nobody steps up to really try to take them over, it is daunting. I
It
mean,
is.
there is more than you could imagine. If you start a to-do list, you might pass out. I mean,
Yeah.
it is relentless,
Right.
in its needs.
Yeah. And that's ultimately that's part of it. We wanted a cohesive set of rules, and we wanted consistency. And each one of the event organizers that we were working with and trying to give them, the tools that they needed to kind of follow that format. But each one of them were doing their events differently, and there was some stuff. And this is not pointing a finger
Yeah,
of
it's
blame.
natural.
Each one of
Yeah.
the events, had a different purpose. Some of them were fundraising, some of them were community events. There was different purposes going on. So there was other things that were happening at the event that a lot of times would pull the event organizers' attention away, maybe
Yeah.
during turn-ins and that sort of thing. And we just
Well, and event organizers by nature are, creative people. I
right,
mean, it takes imagination to be able to put on an event in a ton of capacity. So you're naturally going to get different ideas and different thoughts. And sometimes that's good. And sometimes it creates pushback when there's already, a good system. So
right,
trying to get, there were so many ways that we thought we could structure where this was ran by a person, where this was ran by multiple people,
right.
where this could be ran alone by organizers alone. And I just don't think we've been able to come up with a perfect world for
Right.
this.
Right.
And that's what, if we're going to be behind something, we want it to be perfect for you
Yeah.
guys.
We want it to be
And
right. We know that you
yeah.
all it's a big investment. The organizers and the teams are spending a lot of money to come to these events. And we just didn't want anybody leaving the event feeling like they got shorted or didn't have the opportunity that they should have had.
And that's the hardest part of it. My event is the middle of July. We call it Hog Days for a reason. I
Right.
mean, it is hard on you guys. I hope that everybody knows how hard my team had always worked on that, and it's for free. It's thankless.
Right.
I don't disagree with people being upset because I leave events feeling a little
Sure.
upset sometimes. It's the way it goes. It's natural,
It's human nature.
and you're open to this type of judging that's, purely subjective. So we understand all that. But, it gets to that point where it really wears on you when there's always somebody upset or
Right.
not happy, and that nobody wants to feel that way, and that's kind of where we're at now. Is it is very important to us. You guys as a community aren't our friends, you aren't our peers. Like, I
Right.
consider you guys family, and you should know that you can call me, lean on me, ask
Yeah.
me, and I'll be there. And it's because I know that you guys are too. So how do we move forward?
Right.
You know,
Yeah. And that's, that's why, we kinda took a stop mid-year last year. We had some stuff come up that, was kinda out of left field at a few events. We had, and there wasn't any way for us to really enforce, the process with the event organizers. And, there was some teams that left a few of these events unhappy, and we just decided the best thing to do was kinda put a stop to it, before it got worse.
and that was a shame. And it did not. It was that was the hardest decision. I've been in
Absolutely.
business for a decade, and I've had to make some hard decisions. And don't anybody for a second think that Jacob Gherkin wasn't on a tear. That the biggest, hardest thing for us was to have a guy like Jacob out front of that thing and have to pull the plug
Right.
on it.
Yeah,
But
especially seeing how hard he worked, because Jacob came in green, man, green as could be. And to see,
just got better.
yeah, to see how far he has come, and
Yeah.
to see him, being out in front of that point series and having to put a stop on it, man, like.
And rightfully so.
Right.
It was by no coincidence. It was by no other design other than Jacob had his program
Yeah, he earned it.
running on all
He
cylinders.
earned it for sure.
But the backlash of it, while you want to take all of Jacob's, awesome success and be able to pile into that, we had a lot of organizational problems. We weren't able to get reps at some of the farther events, and we were counting on organizers. And again, we're not going to name anybody, but
Right.
anybody that was part of the cook, if you had a beef, you know what it was,
Right.
where it might have been shorted.
Yeah.
It was more than we could fix.
It really was. It really
So
was. I mean, we had organizers that were pulling judges out of the crowd the day of the event 30 minutes before judging happened
from
because.
camps, I mean, I'd seen
Right.
it where people have people visiting in their team camps, their family or something, and now all of a sudden you see the dude leaving with 10 flip tops, and
Right.
so does another team, and rightfully so. They got
Yeah.
beef with that,
Yeah. So we put the brakes on, and that's what we had to do. And we've kind of just decided for this year that we are not going to formally host a series. We are happy and encouraging if there are, people out there that want to kind of step in and fill that role. We are happy to provide all of the information, the forms, the data, the setup, the scoring programs, any information that we have.
Yeah,
We are happy to pass that along. I would love to see it continue.
yeah,
It's just not. We are both at a point, you know, in our personal lives and professional lives, that the time is not there to dedicate to it, to give the teams and the organizers what they deserve.
100%.
So, would love to
Yeah,
see it. Would love to pass the torch. If anybody that sees this is interested in stepping in, we'll do everything we can to support you.
yeah.
You know,
We don't wanna see the KBP die. We want
no,
this is that there's not gonna be a points chase under our watch,
right,
but we are open to anybody that wants to try to step in. I'll cook your cooks and
yeah,
support it and be what I can because that's what I do at the end of the day. That's what's easy for me. But I'll just tell you, it did. When we announced the series was over, there were 37 messages and DMs of people ready to get on board and help. And while that was appreciated, I don't think I would venture to bet that 90% of those people don't really understand the time commitment until you get in it. So if
right,
you're somebody that wants to do it, this could
yeah,
be very good for you. It's a lot of fun, but you got to be married to
yeah.
it and you'll have to convince us of that.
You'll need a team
Yeah.
without question. It's going to take 4 or 5 people that can split these events up and make sure that somebody is at every single
Structure.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reps. And, Charles is a freaking phenomenal organizer in information and, the hours that he's put into these rules and the format of how the events flow and on and on. Like it's all there for the person that has the
Right.
time matched with the skills and
Yeah.
so I think it's important to us that that's been recognized as a sanctioning body. The points are good. All you organizers out there, we highly suggest that you stick with that sanctioning and those rules
Yeah.
because it's carved away into the industry that's good for the teams.
Right.
Without naming a bunch, just for example, Prairie Fresh
Right.
guys go out and use Prairie Fresh pork, get you a win. Following our rules and the format, you're eligible for their pit crew and all that.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
we hope that everybody still supports, and that's the other thing we talked about. There was a need for a series to drive events
Right.
and event,
To bring those events back.
attendance and the
Right.
attendance of it.
Yeah.
Last year, there were more events in Indiana than I could have scheduled with what I'm doing,
For
out
sure.
of state, in state. Hopefully someday somebody organized that into some kind of state trail chase. We know it's possible,
Yeah.
but we know the commitment, and that's the long and short of it
Right.
is we love you all, but we just can't be those guys anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So, with one door closing, new doors open always. There's
Yep.
always an opportunity. So, we wanted to put some focus back into this podcast, and make this a staple in, the barbecue community. We want to, we've got plans to put some consistency in here. Um, we are blessed to have a location that we can meet kind of between our
Yeah.
two homes here at Sugar Creek
Shout
Barbecue
out
Company.
Sugar Creek, Chris
Yeah.
Johns,
Chris Johns here in
award-winning
Nashville,
pitmaster.
Indiana,
Yep.
Brown County.
Yep.
It's a beautiful place. So if you're ever in the area, definitely stop in here. Grab some barbecue from a fellow pitmaster. He's hands on everything. Everything gets done right here
If you're an
on location.
OG on this trail, you know Chris Johns, and you know that man got calls. We're
That's
all
right.
lucky that he's just chosen to be so busy with his restaurant, his food truck, and the
Yeah.
catering here in Nashville.
Right.
Otherwise, a lot of these brisket races would be for second. I'm here to tell you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
He's got skills without question. So
the platform that we've gotten from success in cooking and just networking, and we want to be able to still use that for the organizers. This show has the ability to keep everybody in the loop, with
right.
the Facebook pages and communities that we've got, the syndicate,
Right.
the Indiana barbecue trail stuff. We want for this to still be an information hub and, a network to tell you where the events are,
Yep.
where the classes are,
Yep.
what products are killing it. Do more tutorials,
Mhm.
maybe even someday open up some sort of subscription where we give you all of it, kind of
Right.
like some of the other bigger subscription barbecue things do. We teach these classes. We're looking at all kinds of ways to move into the future and be an asset to you guys at the
Exactly.
same time.
Exactly. So, that's the podcast is kind of is put in place for that. It's for promoting events. It's for promoting sponsors. And that's we've gotten to the point. We've put the time in now. I think where we've gotten to the point where our focus is on bigger events,
Yeah.
bigger cooks, and Dave and I have both kind of discussed this. While we both love the competition barbecue format, there is a whole world of culinary competition cooking that is yet to be explored, right? And
Yeah.
World Food Championships this year, you guys took part of that here in Indianapolis. You're recognized as number 4 in the world
I guess
right
so.
now
That's what they tell me.
in barbecue. So,
Yeah. Huge honor.
yeah,
I'll
man,
tell
that's
you,
awesome.
coming out of that, it changed me in a way that, Mike McLeod, who's the founder of the World Foods, he gave an awesome speech to the barbecue teams while we were up there about how he started in barbecue. All
Right.
of the World Foods was born out of him doing competitive barbecue cooking, and he immediately started to see kind of a niche that was untouched, and there was so much more that could be of competitive cooking.
Right.
That what if you could go? So, we all do it in KCBS format, especially. You show up, you love, Blues Hog Raspberry Chipotle or
Right.
something,
Right.
and that's your jam at home. So
Yeah.
you're trying to be a little different, but now a judge gets it and it don't taste like OG head country, whatever, and now you're getting scored with a unknown flavor or weird taste, and you
Right.
just can't wrap your head around it because you love it so much. With World Foods, you have the ability to write a description that's read to the judges, and even the later rounds, you get to sell it.
Yeah.
So you get to broaden that, and it's just a whole different format. You got sides that go with it.
Right.
I'm telling you, it was a blast. I love, KCBS, MBN, and
Yeah.
they've all got their little things, but it made Charles and I have different discussions about, you know, we like doing barbecue, but there's so much untouched ground
For sure.
for the show that we
For
can
sure.
bring to you guys. I mean, cast iron cooking,
Yeah.
open fire stuff. I mean, we could just have a YouTube channel, but this is so much more interactive and
Right,
fun,
right.
you know?
Well, and there's other stuff that we wanna touch on, doing these kinda cooking videos and tutorials that I mean, that's something that we've got slated for this year to do more of those, and put those out, and they're not necessarily barbecue specific, right? It allows us to branch into other, other things and be able to explore and kinda really dive into the exploring the, culinary differences between foods and that's, the
Same with
barbecue.
events. Same with
Yeah,
events. You know, we have spent all this time focusing on one type of event where you got world foods, but how about the world of tailgating? I mean, who doesn't
right.
love breaking out the Blackstone and sharing like some kind of smash burger or barbecue melt? There's so many
Yeah,
opportunities here to
right.
to highlight on the show
Right.
and
For
pass along.
for sure. So, that's coming down the pipeline. Some of you may have already seen if you follow the Kentuckiana stuff. We've kind of started transitioning the Instagram page over to more of a "What's the Rub" page, so that we can kind of host all of that content in one location.
Yeah.
We're doing the same thing with YouTube. So, for those of
Yeah.
you that don't follow us on YouTube right now, I'm going to go ahead and throw the banner down here at the bottom. Follow us on YouTube. We have switched that to at WTR Pod. What's the Rub Pod on YouTube? Give us a follow on there. Um, watch for new videos. Our plan right now is to release a new episode every other Wednesday, and we're probably looking at 7 o'clock. We may play around with the release time and see what works best for the audience.
Tell us what works in the
Yeah,
comments.
yeah. Let
Let
us
us know.
know if you've
Suggest
got an opinion
times.
on it. We're happy to listen to that for sure. So that's going to come out. We're still going to distribute it to the groups, so you can follow us there. The
Yeah.
Kentuckiana Barbecue Pitmasters Facebook page will transition to a What's the Rub page as well.
Yeah.
That way, the followers that we have there,
Yeah.
we don't lose those people or have to try to move them over
Yeah.
to a new page or a new platform. So those updates are coming.
And the lives are fun. We still
Yeah,
plan to do some lives to make those a little more
right.
interactive. We're gonna do special, broadcast from events
Hmm.
and, you barbecue guys, I know this is not ideal news and, it's not been an easy thing for us. I mean,
Right.
as much as you guys love it, you should know that it's something that's very important to us and none of this is lightly. We will remain a hub for
Yeah.
all of you and for
Right.
the information, and we just want to make it more,
Yeah.
and
Exactly. We just want to expand our horizons, our opportunities, that sort of thing. And
yeah,
if you want to follow us on that journey, you are more than welcome to. Dave and I are both open books. That's why we've put the classes on in the past. We've learned so much from each other,
yeah,
just tips and tricks and that
yeah,
sort of thing over the years. And cooking together honestly has been more fun than cooking against each other.
it has. And
Right.
well, look at it, and I know the last couple of years, as Charles has transitioned with his job to way north to where he's closer to us now, guys that I've cooked against, Kyle, Jacob, you know, we ended up doing a lot of cooks together last year, and that's what's so
Right.
awesome about it, and I've seen it with some of the newer teams, like Diddy's and Yin Yang, and everybody is so together that we
Right.
wanna make sure that's still a thing, and we hope that you guys see that this is gonna be good for the barbecue community as a whole, and we just need for the organizers to see this as well and
Right.
reach out and let us we're here for everybody. I
Yeah.
mean, we're not trying to recreate the wheel. We can promise you what's going to put teams in, what's going to keep teams happy.
Right.
Same with teams. We're going to be able to tell you sometimes the ball don't bounce your way, man. You just got to have a short memory in
Right.
this thing and
And
keep
that's
it moving.
that's the thing with the format on the competition barbecue, that I like moving into more of the generalized, culinary stuff is that competition barbecue, man, it's so tough because you can have a weekend, everything can click, you can hit all your marks and end up in the bottom half of the field, right? And you can go the next weekend and cook the exact same cook and win that event.
Yeah.
So um, it's really hard to know what to do and where to improve and that sort of thing. And
It's easy to make a theory.
it
It's
is
hard to really know what happened. And
right,
we've all got them. We all know. Sometimes it feels like a conspiracy. You see other people's boxes that are trash and yours was money. I mean, that's the story
right.
always, and whether it's true or not. Sometimes it is and sometimes it's not.
One, it's hard to move past. You put so much money and time and effort into it, that especially, I mean, how many times have we said it? Like, if we think we've had a good cook,
It's
that's not a
terrible.
good sign,
Yeah.
right? And the days that you feel like you've just completely screwed the pooch
Yeah, you're nailing
and
180s.
everything has been a battle,
Yeah,
and you end up walking away from that event with some hardware, and
a
it's just
crazy score.
yeah. So, we've got some love for it. Obviously, that's where we started, but it's just we're moving into some other stuff and some other opportunities, and part of that this year for me and Dave together, in some aspects, we're going to start releasing some sauce options for you guys. We're working on that right now. Some rub options. I've got a little bit of stuff going on in the background. I've been dropping a little bit of teasers here and there, but that's part of my goals for this year is to I've kind of joined forces with an existing business, and we're gonna help each other out, and a competition line of sauces and rubs is coming.
Yeah.
Hoping to have that available really before the season ramps up this year, and get some distribution on that. I'm excited about it. I can't say a whole lot right this second,
Yeah.
but that's something that Dave and I are working on together.
Well,
So that's going to be a collaboration.
what I can tell you is you should be excited because what you're going to get are a couple of guys who have been through the ringer. And I mean, it's always hard for me to not come across, but I'll just number four. We know what gets results. You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying? We know
Yeah.
what gets calls. Now we have the tools to get in a kitchen and bring that to you. And we're going to give you a one bottle solution that we think is going to really turn
Yeah.
some things around for programs here. So
For sure, for sure. So, got some meetings coming up with that. Should have some more information. It's got to follow the show. You got to listen to kind of see what the progress is with that. So make sure that you give us a like and a subscribe for sure
yeah,
on that YouTube page for
if
information on there.
if you know us at all, there's generally about 100 irons in the fire, and that's part of the problem and the solution.
Right.
There are going to be some really awesome things. Indiana barbecue, and I love all of you across our regions. Kentuckiana barbecue. We just think it's been slept on for too long.
Yeah.
Your guys' success is our success. You're only as good as your competitors. That was always important to me.
Right.
If you know me, you know that you could walk into my trailer and I'm not going to scurry to hide a thing. And in fact, if you're struggling, I may hand you a couple of products. Even though you might beat me that day, I want to see you out there every day making me earn it.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep that alive in the mentorship, the
Right.
classes, the information we bring you here is only going to amplify that ability. So we
Right.
expect to see the Indiana barbecue community thrive, blow up, start winning these sponsorships from these
Right.
big companies,
Right.
and making it known that when we pull in, everybody's going to know when them Indiana and Kentucky guys
Yeah.
show up.
Yeah, for sure. And that's part of our goal for 2025. We're looking at, we know that as teams, any kind of sponsorship you can get, whether it's product, monetary, um, everything goes a long way, right? Everything's so expensive, especially now. So, one of the things that we're looking into are group sponsorships for teams. So, if you have a product and you're looking for ambassadors, part of this program is we want our core group of guys, the people that have started with Kentuckiana, have been with Kentuckiana for a while. We're looking for those sponsorships to spread out among those teams as kind of a syndicate,
Yeah.
a conglomerate, right? So, if there's a company out there that wants to sponsor a team, instead of getting one team and one social media outlet, we can provide you with 10 teams for that same sponsorship.
100%.
So that's something that we're working on this year for sure.
And the same with national companies,
Mhm.
being connected to companies like Royal Oak, especially, has brought into my life a network of, nationwide barbecue family. And
Right.
as much as I love the local guys, man, there's guys. So if you're a big company, if you're in 39 states, you name a city and we'll put you on an influencer. I mean, that's what we want to do and be
Right.
an advocate for our guys that are out here trying to make the game as a whole stronger for
Right.
everybody and for the companies too. If it's good for a company, they're
Yeah.
good for a sponsorship.
Right.
It's good for the community.
Yeah.
So
And that's 100%. So, I mean, Dave and I are both business owners. We understand how that promotion works and what is beneficial, what brings value,
Yeah.
so
And
if
we're business owners that built it from the
the ground
basement,
up, right,
and that is not an easy thing. Anybody that's ever tried to do it, again, you got to be creative, imaginative. Your skin's got to be about 3 rhinoceroses thick.
no doubt.
You got to be able to
Put 90
show up
hours a
every
week
day.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we are relentless in what we do, and we're that for you too still, despite all this and how it comes across. We know some people are going to have feelings about it. Truly sorry if you think we're less than before, but just know, man, no matter what, we're still here for you and trying to make things happen.
right. Without question. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I just want to do a kind of a quick recap, run back
Yeah.
through. We're going to try to start limiting these episodes to about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
We were doing an hour before, and it seemed like we got it's a hard. We understand an hour of people's lives. You got stuff going on. An
It's
hour
fun
is a
for
lot to
us.
dedicate, right? I
Yeah.
mean, we could sit here and talk for 2 hours easily.
Yeah.
I don't
100%.
know how many times Tony or Angela or somebody's been like, man, we just need to record your all's conversations when you're driving down the road, and that could be
That's
an
how it
episode on
started.
its own, right?
Yeah.
It really did.
Yeah.
So we enjoyed doing this. It's going to be something, and now that we've got a spot to do it, and we've got the ability to kind of do it with a little bit more consistency and actually have a business plan together.
Yeah, and we've got some great guests coming up. We're going to bring in those
Absolutely.
guests that have awesome products that they're going to talk about and tell you, their stories.
Yeah.
I don't want to name drop any names yet because there's some big ones we haven't reached out to, but I mean, these are going to be really enjoyable episodes that you're not going to want to miss. And I'm not just
Absolutely.
saying that.
Yeah.
You just catch a couple and then you let us know.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like we're flexible. We're modular. If there's something you want to see, tell us about it.
Yeah.
Shoot us a comment, shoot us Facebook message, whatever.
We're going to bring you the big names, but we want to bring you the local guys too. If you
Yeah.
want to be on the show,
We would
just
love to
reach
have
out.
you. Yeah, yeah. I mean, especially local guys, local people in the community, people that are just getting into competition barbecue,
Yeah. Restaurateurs. I
yeah,
mean, we can mix this up a little
absolutely.
bit.
So it just gives us a broader brush to paint with and hit on multiple things. So
And hang out in the comments. You know how many times do you watch these shows and you make a connection or a network in the comments? You
right,
see somebody that you've been trying to reach, and I mean, that's what we want to foster is just a family, a
right.
network.
The
Yeah,
community for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
So yeah, that's where we're at. We're closing in on 35 minutes. So
yeah.
like I said, I know we could sit here and talk for a couple hours. But we got to save some stuff for the next one, and
Yeah.
that sort of thing. So
Make
be sh-
sure to reach out all week with your
yeah,
comments. What drives this is your feedback.
right,
So we've given you a lot to think
yeah,
about, to talk about.
right,
We will be active in the comments, so
absolutely,
please participate.
yeah, yeah. Let us know what you want to see, what's beneficial to you, what brings value, and if you're somebody that's got that's in competition barbecue and you've got a spouse that's always cooked the desserts at the events, or the ancillaries, like let's have them on. Let's
Yeah,
talk about it. It does not have to just be barbecue specific. We want to incorporate as much as we can, bring as much value, as much content
yeah.
as we possibly can. So I'm excited for 2025. I'm excited, to get some of these sauces and rubs out. I'm excited to shoot some videos, some content.
Cookbook.
A little
There might be
cookbook, a little something going on.
might be a cookbook dropping this
You
year.
never know. You never know what could happen this year.
The price is right.
That's right.
What would you pay for the right cookbook? Maybe leave that in the comments.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know for sure. So, man, I just want to say I appreciate everybody that has supported us over the last 7 years. Doesn't feel like it's been that long, man. It's crazy to even
Till you
say
look
it.
at our kids.
Yeah, no
They're just
doubt. We were
tall, you
we
know.
were looking. There's a video Dave put together that's coming out, man, and it honestly it pulled at my heartstrings a little bit the first time I watched it. So
It's going to
if
get you guys too.
yeah, if
'Cause I
you've been
tried to get
involved with Kentuckiana or you've been around and you know Dave and I, you're going to see some stuff in there that is a little nostalgic, bring back some memories and some emotions. So
just hope that it reflects, the way we love you guys
yeah,
and
for
what an
sure.
awesome run it's been, and that it don't have to be over. This point, Chase, ending is not the end. It's just another chapter
That's right.
full of possibilities. But you guys need to be a part of it still for that to happen.
Yeah,
So
without question. So Make sure you follow us on YouTube. That is going to be the number one place that you can find this podcast moving forward. We will certainly announce other destinations that we're going to send it to. More than likely, you'll be able to find us on Spotify soon, obviously on Facebook. If you already follow the Kentuckiana page, you are good to go. You will be on the What's the Rub page. If you are seeing this and you do not follow the page now, look us up on Facebook, What's the Rub podcast, and shoot Dave and I a message. Shoot us a friend request. Be sure to join the the Barbecue and Grill Master Syndicate group on Facebook, and then the Indiana, Kentucky events and Kids Q. I think you'll find it. It'll pop up on there. Share your cooks with us, man.
Yeah.
Jump into the syndicate. Show us what you got going on, what you're cooking with, what equipment you're using. Post up in there. Let's talk, foster the community.
Get involved.
If you're an event organizer, put your stuff on there. Even if you don't have the entry forms and that sort of thing filled out yet, one thing that I can encourage, get the date out to the teams as early as possible.
Event organizers in particular, keep this community strong. The groundwork is there. If your event's lacking, reach out.
Yeah.
We can and we will help.
Absolutely.
Be flexible. You event organizers, be flexible, and you'll have great events for years to come. Be open to change.
Yep.
But don't change what ain't broke.
That's right. That's right.
That's the best advice I can give.
Absolutely. So we appreciate you guys. We will see you again soon. Shout out Sugar Creek Barbecue Company, Nashville, Indiana, Chris, for letting us use this location. We're hoping to shoot a lot more episodes here, in person versus doing them remotely.
Get the brisket fries.
Yeah, definitely come in and try his stuff out. You will not be disappointed, without question. Cool vibe in here. You can see everything, the wall behind us.
He's done Nashville too. I mean, your wife ain't going to be mad coming over here.
No, not at all, man.
Just bring the checkbook.
You can do anything you want here, man. I come down here now. I'm close enough that in the summertime we'll come down here and just hit the park and do some hiking and wander around and downtown, man. It's like little Gatlinburg down here.
They got carriage rides. They got a train that goes around.
Yeah.
You've never been to little Nashville, and I mean, I know it's hard for barbecue guys, but do it in the fall.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's beautiful down here, without question. So with that, we appreciate it. Phase out. We will see you next time.